Camera.
Shalom. This is Voice of a Watchman. This is Waco Israel Ministries here on the Sabbath. We do thank and praise the Most High, Ahayah, bahashem, Yashayah. I would like everybody to open up to Revelation 13, starting at verse 15. But first, before we read that tonight, we got some information,
It's awesome to be here on another Sabbath night. The word says, and if you believe the word says, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Don't just remember it when you want to remember it once in a while. Remember is to keep it holy. When you do this in remembrance of me, as often as you do it, Yashayah said. Okay?
Okay, we got some information to show you about
okay. Move the Bible, take the water. What do you say, 15 minutes?
15.
Yeah, 15. And he had power. Starts there.
Company of a this company says first in the U.S. to offer microchip implants to its employees. You heard that right. Microchip implants under the skin. Dr. Rosenthal joins us live from just up the hall to explain this. He's in the building with us right now. Josh, what's this all about?
And that's right. So, Lindsay, just outside of the studio here, we've got a few of these vending machines. Now, we all know how these work, right? You walk up, you put your dollar in, you get your bag of chips. Well, as I learned today, these machines are quickly becoming very old-fashioned, and in fact, just how old-fashioned is surprise you. At 3 Square Market in River Falls, a team of programmers designed software for break room markets, like this one. Believe it or not, this is the reason they're about to do this to more than 50 of their employees.
It's the next thing that's inevitably going to happen, and we want to be a part of it.
The concept is pretty simple.
Listen up.
Like how you can buy
it's here already.
Nowadays using your phone.
The mark of the beast is here already.
Inside your hand instead.
the mark of the beast is upon us, everybody.
If you take that chip in your hand, you are finished. There is no redemption. They have it in the credit card right now. Every credit card has it.
Yes.
It's got to go under the skin.
Is a break room market in an office complex. We'll come up, scan the item.
Right, Josh?
We'll hit pay with credit card.
Got some.
And Christians are what told? No, it's not. They're told by their pastors.
So
it's just to
got some
monitor us.
Some informational clips about this, and we're going to share them. Then we're going to go into our lesson and read and go into scripture. So just to get the name of the clip, it's going to be in the video. It's the first U.S. company to offer RFID chip implants to employees in Wisconsin.
How long ago, Josh? Is this?
This is in July this year.
This year, July.
Swipe my.
And they're taking it, right? Aren't they?
Right.
Hold my hand up.
Yeah, good.
Just like the cell phone, and it will pay for my product.
Could be for everybody.
So did you hear? So the guy said it will be mandatory so you can pay for stuff at work. So they're going to start chipping their employees so they can work and eat at work.
And if they don't take it, they can't work, and they can't eat, they can't buy or sell.
No, that was not yet. It's just going to be
at their job.
If it's going in their hand, it's going to be everywhere.
No, it's not. It's going to be their job.
Oh, I see. So they're not going to force it on everybody, right?
It's not going to be. It's different. It can be programmed differently. The chip.
Right, they can program it any way they want.
Correct.
It's not the final
Because
chip.
my microchip is now my credit card.
More than 53
So his microchip is going to be his credit card now.
Square Market employees are having them implanted starting next week. Not only can they buy stuff with them, they'll also be able to use the chips to get in the front door and log on to their computers. Each chip costs $300. The company's picking up the tab. The chip goes between your thumb and forefinger, and CEO Todd Westby says the data is both encrypted and secure. So if I'm one of your employees and I've got this chip in my hand,
This is an alert. Sooner or later, this is going to be mainstream. They're going to make the RFID chip is here.
So Joshua, these people that work for this company, they cannot buy anything or sell anything or get anything in that
building
building
without the RFID chip.
All right. So it's starting, isn't
It's
it?
going to start
Gradually.
Gradually, they're
Uh-huh.
going to gradually grow it into society.
Folks, it's here, and this is how it's going to start. And in the future, not far from now. Now listen, not even probably a year. It's going to be mandatory probably throughout the United States and the world.
you won't know, hey, Josh is slacking off. I can tell because I'm reading this chip.
No, there's no GPS tracking at all.
Employees here aren't required to get the chip. One of the ones choosing to do so, however, just so happens to be former.
See,
Oh,
so
okay, I got it.
so it won't start out in the public eye as something that is forced at first. When they make the RFID chip, they're gonna make the RFID chip something that is a choice more than a necessity.
Okay, I got you.
But sooner, when it gets to the point, they're going to end up forcing this technology on people.
North Star player and current Edina hockey coach, Robert Giles. If somebody told you back in the day when you're flying around the ice playing for the North Stars that you're going to have a chip implanted in your hand, you're going to use it to pay for stuff, you're going to use it to get in and out of buildings, what would you have told that person?
I probably would have thought a chip tooth or a chip of ice, but not a chip that has the technology that we're talking about today.
Okay, now, in case you're wondering, Lindsay, each one of these chips, it's about the size of a single grain of rice. It's tiny, just one little grain of rice. And now, get this. If you get one of these implanted into your hand and you want to get rid of it, you know how you do that? For real? Tell me you just pop it out.
I thought it was hard to believe. Did they offer you one?
They did. They very much wanted me to come back
Oh,
next
so that's
week
not
when they're
that
putting them in employees and get one.
Because the other
Still
one,
not
the real
sold,
one, you
but
can't take
I'm a
out of
little
your hand.
closer to being sold
Get
than
it
I was
right,
when I
kill
walked in.
Faster from the vending machine.
I sure would.
Now we need to upgrade the vending machine.
Yeah, really.
All right, thank you, Josh. All right, this may be the first time a U.S. company is using the technology, but it's already being used in Europe.
So this is just a gradual step the government is starting to implement into society.
It's already in Europe.
But once they tell you that it's mandatory, then we're going to read it in Revelation. We're going to show you that this is the real mark coming.
Sweden.
So we got a
offers
couple
than
more,
100
and watch
employees
what I
the
have a clip
opportunity
with
to get
Trump
those
talking about it
microchips
too.
earlier this year. The company at the Center Stockholm says phone and internet browsing history poses more of a threat than the chip.
Is it true what you say concerning the judgment day? If I told people down and pray, well, I'll
Let me ask you at home, and even the guys here in the studio, a question. Let's say your boss offered you an easier way to log onto your computer in the morning, or bypass having to get change for the vending machine, or even get through a secure door by having a microchip planted in your hand. Anyone? Yes? Anyone? Yeah. Well, it's apparently happening, and not everybody's happy about the idea.
I'm stunned to hear that that's actually something that's being considered now. I mean, that sounds so science fiction.
Kind of does, doesn't it? That's why we put
Science
Sam
fiction,
on the task. Apparently the guys in the studio aren't having it. How about you? What do you think of this?
Well, it's experimental, so we can't be sure of what's going to happen. But you know me, I'm an experimental type of guy. So I will go along with it just when it comes to work, nothing else, hey? But basically, what this company is doing, they're trying this out. I've got to tell you, This is RFID technology. That probably doesn't mean a lot to anybody at home. It's the same technology we have in our badges that we use to get into work. So there's a company in Wisconsin. They're giving employees the option, and about 50 out of the 80 employees have opted to do it. So they can, instead of using the badge, or instead of using their phone
really
to buy
easy.
something at the vending machine, or instead of using a credit card, they just have
Really
a little
deceptive
chip
is gonna
inserted
come in,
into
Josh.
their hand right there between the thumb and your pointer finger. It's done by either a tattoo artist or someone who has a license to do piercings put in that way. And it's really just the same technology that we're using inside other devices, only you can't lose it, even though I've been known to lose my hand every once in a while. Now, important to note here, the FDA has granted permission for similar technology to be used before, but they have regulations over. There are potential issues out there, but there are regulations in place. I'm guessing you wouldn't do it, Michaela.
I'm completely freaked out by this idea. What if somebody decides to cut off my hand and use my hand to get inside the door somewhere? Okay, maybe I watched too many movies.
What was interesting?
So we see the gradual, we're going to start seeing more gradual adaptation from the government for this type of
Right, they have to
technology.
get society accustomed to it.
Exactly.
Just like they did with the card, with the.
Now let's see
signature.
what our president, our so-called, your president has to say.
We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens, never happens. Hillary Clinton, all talk. Unfortunately, when there is action, it's always the wrong decision. Do you ever notice? In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
Did you hear? Wait, let me replay that so you can hear what Trump
Listen
just
again
said.
now.
So in his administration, he's going to force the RFID chip.
And this is going to be forced by the elite, the Rothschilds, the Bilderbergers, all the elite Jews that control the world monetary system. Oh, I see how they're doing it.
Unfortunately, when
If you
there is
don't take-
action,
wait,
it's always
listen.
the wrong decision. Do you ever notice? In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system. Approximately half of new illegal immigrants came on temporary visas and then never ever left. Why should they? Nobody's telling them to leave. Stay as long as you want. We'll take care.
Almost all immigration applications require that you attend a biometrics appointment after submitting your immigration forms to the USCIS. But what is a biometrics appointment? Biometrics is a complicated word that simply means information about you. When you attend a biometrics appointment, an immigration officer will take your fingerprints, take your photograph, and record your legal signature. All this is done electronically and then filed in the Department of Homeland Security's database. This information is also used to run a background check. In the end, this step is used to make sure you are who you say you are and that you haven't committed any crimes that may make you unable to get your immigration.
So now this is another thing that they're going to gradually, they're going to be able to use the RFID chip for immigration. So you won't have to have a green card, papers. It will all be in your hand. So one more video, then we'll read the scripture.
Let me make you something, Josh. Stop. Let me say this to the viewers. Then sooner or later, when it's mandatory, then you're going to know you're going to have to say no to it.
Right?
Well, actually, mandatory means you can't work unless you take it, right?
Right.
So it is mandatory.
It's a mandatory.
If you're working
Biometric screening is a way of
if you're
using an
working
individual's specific
for a company,
physical.
you got to take it. That's mandatory. Or
Not
you,
yet.
oh, you
It's
can,
not
or you can leave
mandatory.
and work somewhere else that doesn't have this.
Or biological characteristics to
You have a
verify
choice if you
identity.
want to. Right
Its
now.
purpose is to tighten security, protecting
It's not
personal
mandatory
documents
yet. Oh,
such as
even on the
passports
workplace?
and contracts, making
Oh.
actions like
It's not
withdrawing money
on
or
the
entering
workplace.
private
Oh, I
premises
see.
safer and easier.
Thanks, man.
The oldest and most widely
Wow.
used form is digital fingerprinting.
So in other words, when
Well, wait. Shut up. So now listen to this. Now this is coming, people. We just heard what Trump said. His administration will be the administration that will make the RFID chip mandatory.
Okay.
Safer and easier.
Now listen to this.
The oldest and most widely used form is digital fingerprinting. Unique and permanent, except when a person suffers severe burns.
So they have things where they can scan your hand now.
Oh, right. Biometric.
The patterns making up our fingerprints are identifiable thanks to regions known as deltas, forks, and ridge endings. Each print contains up to 90 of these points. Using just a dozen or so should be enough to identify one identical twin from another.
So instead of
Eye scans work in a similar way. Thanks to the distinct structure of each individual iris, reliable identification is possible.
Now they can also scan your eye. Or they've been able to do that. So they're also going to be able to scan your entire face or your forehead as well.
Wow. This is serious, folks.
The technique, however, is costly. A less expensive option, using a palm morphology reader. The only problem, the form of a person's hand changes over time. This technique can be useful, however, for quick identification purposes, even in dusty or dirty conditions, and that's why it's often used on construction sites and at harbors. Finger or hand vein recognition is another way of checking.
So when they put the chips in your fingers, all you're going to have to do is scan your hand at the store, at the bank, at the restaurant, at the SSI office, at the WIC office, at the food stamp place.
All right, let me ask you something, Joshua. If there's a sign outside of your fast food restaurants and it says this is a scanning place, you have to have a chip to buy or sell there, right? Or buy it. Will they do that? Or just the people that work there? Wow. I never thought I'd see it in my time, Mary, you know? But we've been ready. We've been prepared. We know. It's brothers or sisters who make a joke of it. They're going to be sorry.
Now, I want to share something with you guys. Now, read Revelations. We're going to read Revelations now. Revelations 1.
Okay, Revelation
1.
1. Oh,
Revelations
13.
I mean, yeah, 13 and
15.
18, 15.
13, 15. All right, Revelation 13, 15. You want me to read, Josh? Okay, who's ever listening in? Revelation 13, 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
So now I have the interlinear Bible here. So I want to show you. Let's see. So this is the Greek word for mark. We're going to see what it says. It's the Greek charagma.
Signature, Josh.
It means mark, stamp of authority.
Wow.
Etching under the skin. So the RFID chip is a stamp of authority that is under your skin.
And who's this stamp of authority? It's not just the American government. It's the hidden agenda who's forcing this mark on the world. Correct, Josh? The elite of the world.
It's going to be, so the chip, the RFID chip is a stamp of authority according to the Bible. So
Wow.
So what we're going to do for now, now let's go to our,
I never thought I'd see the day, Josh. I'd be here for this. You know?
right.
But we've been prepared. We've been prepared. You know what prepared means? We know about it.
Go to our Bible study tonight.
Okay. And you must get prepared for it.
James 5. We're going to talk about the woes of rich.
Warning to the rich. Now this fits right in what Josh showed tonight and what we had just explained about the chip. I'm sure it does. I'm sure some of them will.
James 5:1.
Everybody have it? Okay out there? Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you.
So when this mark comes, the people who are trying to chase this system are going to weep and howl because they can't live without the stamp of authority under your skin, right?
Wow.
Read.
Your riches are corrupted,
Uh-huh.
and your garments are moth-eaten.
So everything is going to be turned into nothing unless you have the chip.
Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire.
Uh-huh.
Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days.
So the wealthy.
Wow, that's good, Josh.
Uh-huh. So
That fits right in, Josh, what you said.
They have heaped together. Let's get a precept of this. Luke 12.
Okay, let's go to Luke 12.
I think that's what. Let's get it. Luke 12. Start at 7:16.
Okay. 12:16, Luke.
And hold your places in in James, because we're going to go straight back after we read this.
All right, Luke 12, what? 17?
17, Dad. 16. 16. 16.
12:16. Okay. Ready? Luke 12:16. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentiful.
So this is speaking about the nature of, and I'm gonna put this. This is going into the spirit of, let's just deal with America, the capitalistic system. This is how the system is programming people to build their lives around. Read.
And he spake a parable unto them, saying, a ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentiful. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do? Because I have no room where to bestow my fruits. And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns.
Now remember what we just read out of James, how, and let me just go back there and just pick up where it says, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth. So that's what we were just going into in James, how the rich, the elite, and the government systems they've set up are programming people to try to live comfortable in a sense of ease.
Wow.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So be it.
Yeah, I will pull down my barns.
So I'll leave my house and build a new one.
And build greater.
I'll build a mansion. Or I'll get a bigger land.
Hold on, I want to say something. You know what? Right now, everybody that's listening to this message, you better downsize. If you're struggling through bills, you better downsize. And there will I bestow. I mean, I think I said this about a year or two ago, Josh. And there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods, and I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years.
So this is the pride and the arrogance, the pride and the at-easeness that riches bring.
Come on.
It causes you not to worry about what's going on around you.
That's right. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry.
In other words, nothing's going to happen to me, or I have enough material wealth to overcome anything that comes my way.
Right. Okay. But Ahayah said unto him, the Most High, thou fool.
Thou what?
Thou fool.
Thou fool.
This night thy soul shall be required of thee.
Exactly. Because we also know, before we go to James, go to Mark 8 and
Mark 8
and 37 and 36.
8:36.
8:36.
Precept upon precept, right?
That's right. Mary, go ahead, read that. 8:36, honey.
I'll read it.
All right. Okay, hold on, Mary. Just find it. Yeah, this is a serious message tonight. I hope.
Or
go ahead, Josh.
What shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his soul?
Wait, where were you?
8:36.
Hold on. Read it again, Josh.
For what shall it profit a man? We just read this in Luke, and we're going back to
36, right?
Yeah. 8:36. Mark.
35. Hold on. Get, Josh.
For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole earth and
don't change the world.
Now a better understanding of the word world is age in the Greek, because that's also how the Greek would render the word world. Age or age.
That's why there's 5 different worlds. That's good, Josh.
So if you gain the whole age, or in other words, if you gain everything this age has to give you, and lose your soul, or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Back to James 5:5.
Wow, that's good.
James 5 and 5, Dad.
Awesome. You should finish that. You know what? The rest of that is really sometime like this. Like James, yeah, that is really good, man.
James 5 and 5, everybody.
You know, Christ says right after that, if you're ashamed of me in this adulterous and sinful generation, I'll be ashamed of you. Wow. That's this word, this Bible does not lie. It's warning you tonight about the shift that's here.
Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth.
What verse were we, Josh? I forgot.
5.
5. Go ahead, Josh.
Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth,
And been look at that. Wanting.
Wanting.
Always wanting. Go ahead.
and ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter.
Of slaughter. Look what you're doing. When you're running out there and you're trying to get rich, you're like actually like a pig where people are putting like fruit in you and ready to slaughter you and
Wow,
and be
that's deep.
Wow.
Verse 6, you have condemned and killed the just,
Wow.
and he doth not resist you.
Look at that.
So the wealthy use their money to oppress the children of Israel. That's another precept in the Bible. I mean, it's you can't get away from the chosen people. I mean, James was writing to the Israelites. James 1:1 says, James, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes scattered
abroad.
Abroad.
That's right.
Greetings.
Greetings. Wow.
Be patient, therefore, heathen,
Good.
watching the coming of the Yashayah.
Wait, what?
Behold,
Hold on, stop. Be patient. What did you say? This is the patience of the saints.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead, Mary.
The husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth, and hath long patience for it until he receives the early and later latter rain.
Read.
Hold on. All right, good. I'll say it later.
No.
I'll say it later. Sorry.
I'll read the next word.
Go ahead.
Say what you want to say.
All right. Listen, I'm not coming against any pastor, but I'm telling you, these pastors are not going to tell you about these things. They're going to make excuses. As long as they can get your money, and that's all they're after. Most of these pastors, I'm not saying all, but most of them, be careful. Take heed to your spirit, what you're hearing tonight. Good. You have lived. Okay.
Ye also have be ye also patient.
That's right.
Establish your hearts,
Wow.
for the coming of the Mashiach draweth nigh.
Wow.
Gurge not one against another.
Grudge, right? Okay.
And brother, least ye be condemned, because behold, the judge standeth before the door.
Wow.
Take my brethren, the prophets, the prophets.
Now today,
take my brethren, the prophets, whom have spoken in the name of the Most High, for an example of suffering and affliction and patience. Let's
there's a word
get another
patience.
precept for this. Let's go to
patience
Romans.
showing up, Josh?
Romans 15:4.
Tony, see that word patience showing up? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, Romans 15. All right, I'll read this one.
So we are to study in the Old Testament and the Scriptures.
That's right.
We are to take the
15:4.
prophets.
All right, Romans. Right, Josh, 15:4.
Romans 15 verse 4.
For whatsoever things. Okay, go ahead, man. Wait for you. You ready? For whatsoever things were written aforetime, before this, were written for your learning.
So what Paul is saying is what was written by Moses and the prophets and David was given to us to precept and to learn. Read.
That we through, look at that, look at this again.
Patience.
Look at that, 3 times.
And
Patience. Now I, Tony,
comfort
and comfort
of the
scriptures,
of religion,
of the scriptures,
of Christianity,
of Sunday night service,
might have
hope. Look at this.
Back to James.
11. You be careful out there, people. You be
Behold.
careful. Wait, hold on. Wait, 11? Verse 11?
Behold, ye count them happy which endure. Wait a minute.
Wait, where are you, Josh? 5:11?
I thought the rapture was coming.
Wait, hold on. Wow, where's 11? I want to see it again.
Behold, ye count them happy which endure.
Where's 11? 10. How's it start? Oh, okay, Josh. Yeah, I got it. Go ahead, Josh.
Behold, ye count them happy
Come on.
which endure.
Wow. Ye have heard of their patience. I got it crossed out. Of the patience of Job. Wow, you hear this word patience coming up, Josh?
So there's no such thing as a rapture doctrine. That is a lie.
Yeah,
the
sure
Bible
is.
continually says to endure to receive the promise, or to endure to receive eternal life.
There's no rapture. It's the gathering of the saints. And have seen the end of the Mashiach, that the Mashiach is very pitiful and of tender mercy.
But above all things, my brethren, swear not.
Don't make an oath like it. Don't make oaths if you can't keep them. Neither by Josh.
Neither by the heaven, neither by
the earth.
Neither by the earth, nor any oath.
Neither by any other
oath. But let your yea be yea, and your nay be nay.
That's so true.
Lest any fall into condemnation.
Wow. Oh, you have that right? Okay.
Is any among you afflicted? Let him pray. Is any merry? Let him sing psalms.
Is there any sick among you? Let him call for the elders of the church.
No. Call for a miracle healer to come in and take your money.
Let him call the elders of the church and let them pray over him.
No, calling a false prophet.
Anointing him with oil in the name of the Messiah.
And the prayer of faith shall save the sick. And the Most High, I believe that. Hold on. What's this? You really can lay hands on yourself. If you're really walking with the Most High and you don't feel good, you can. I mean, you don't make a big scene of it, but you can put your hand somewhere where you're not feeling well. Okay. All right, hold on. And the prayer of the faith shall save the sick, and the Most High shall raise him up, and if he have committed sins, they shall be forgiven him.
Right.
Now, faults. Good.
Confess your faults one to another, and pray one for another.
Now, did he say sins, Mary? What did he say? Confess your sins? He said confess your faults. That tells you right there you're not supposed to be sinning. A fault is like, I said something I shouldn't have said, and I wanted to talk to my brother, It's not really a sin. You made a mistake. That I'll agree with. One to another. Get Mary.
That ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of righteous man availeth much.
Right, now what does that mean? Effectual fervent. That means you're praying and you mean it. That's what he wants to hear the Most High. Elijah was a man subject to like passions as we are. It was the same way. And he prayed earnestly that it might not rain, and it rained not on the earth by the space of 3 years and 6 months. Now Christians, don't go ahead and do that, because it's not going to happen. This man was a real prophet. And he prayed again, and the heaven gave rain, and the earth brought forth her fruit. Wait, I want to back what Joshua said before. I lost track, but it's amazing, Josh. It's amazing how you're right. I feel good now. I didn't feel good before. I'm telling you, the word is amazing. It just, I wanted to back what you said before. It's so true. Wait, and he prayed again, and the heaven gave rain, and the earth brought forth her fruit. There's so many people who are trying to get rich in false doctrine today. It's very sad. It's sad to see. Go ahead, Josh. Finish it.
Brethren, if any of you do err from the truth, and one convert him,
let him know that he which converted the sinner from the error of his way shall save a soul from death and shall hide a multitude of sins. Wow.
So that's what we're here. We're here to try to say to save you from death.
You don't have to sin. That's a lie. Stop listening to those Christian pastors. You're going to sin all the time. You can't help it. No, just come to me. We'll pray together. We'll hold hands. Yeah, baloney. Baloney. You better get right. We are. I know our family is. I know a lot of the camps or GOCC. I believe they're not living in sin. I believe with all my heart, Joshua, that the apostles died, Tony, Mary, the way they died is because they walked with the Mashiach and they saw him not sinning and they stopped sinning. And that's why they were martyred. The church don't want to die. That's why Satan's got him alive in him. Now, all the ministry that we've been doing the last 5.5 years are coming to fruition now. Everything we said now, it's going to come to pass. I've even had Christians telling me in the gym, oh, no, we're not going to see the chip. It's some future thing. It's, oh, yeah? Okay, we'll see. It's always the future with them, Josh. So, it's always something in the future. Okay, Josh. So, Josh, when it's mandatory everywhere, then you know not to take it then, right? If you hear the president one day say, the whole world, like we heard tonight, right? You heard it, right, viewers? When you hear him make an announcement, the man with power in this country from the elite make that statement, you better not take it. Guess what? If you're going for money, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Josh. Go ahead. If you're running for money like Josh read tonight in James, if you're doing that, you better stop. You better download. You better downsize. You better get out of debt as much as you can. If we got to go bankrupt again, Mary, so what? We get rid of our bills so we don't have to have a card or nothing.
So, I want to share something right fast with you. Again, as we did Wednesday night when we did a lesson on talking about the spirit or the exposing the mind of the enemy, I want to share this video with and this short video clip, and the debate topic here, it's a short clip, is about so-called illegal immigration. Let's see how
the other one was good too, Josh.
How this goes.
So the bill has hit Governor Abbott's desk and has been signed by Governor Abbott. Basically, the anti-sanctuary city bill has been passed and is now law. And what that bill says is that if local law enforcement or state police view a criminal activity afoot, they make a stop on that state crime, and then they can inquire into the status of an individual's residence. Are they a lawful U.S. citizen? Are they here with a green card? Are they a permanent resident alien? Or are they here illegally without documentation? And if they are here illegally without that documentation, then the feds can get involved and then they can take it from.
Now, it's funny that white people get these people get to determine who's a citizen legally. Remind me, didn't they illegally take land from people? So who are you to determine who's legal?
That's right.
So you're the illegal alien, not the Mexicans. So it's not within your right to say who's illegally in America.
I think this is a fantastic law. It is time to start enforcing the laws that are on
the books instead of the state and local officials legislating from their own little tiny offices.
It's an awful law because it's nothing more than a legal way for law enforcement to racially profile Mexicans and Hispanics. This law was written into existence by Governor Abbott to specifically go after a said group of demographics here in the state of Texas. Secondly, it is awful that we want to call them illegal immigrants to the point to where if a cop does not do his job according to this law, he can be charged and arrested, and the cities can be given a $25,000 fine per day. Well, we'll put a cop in jail for not asking somebody's immigrant status, but we won't put cops in jail for shooting and killing unarmed black people.
That's not true. And that's
Thirdly,
way
I think
too far
it's
to
awful
step.
to
Murder is
call him-
against the law.
Yeah, but it's not just like when you kill black people, you're a cop. See, the problem in America and this state
What about
is
the Dallas case
but-
where that cop was just
because
charged
there
with
was
murder?
video to show he was
So
absolutely
you can't
lying.
make these broad
No,
statements. It's just
because
simply not
often
true.
there's video, ma'am, where we have killed black
See,
Just
they don't
somebody's
like
devil.
when you show their hypocrisy, when you point out their
You
hypocrisy.
see how upset they get? See, because they're sent by the elite, these people. Rome, the government, they control the networks. They own them. And they have to say these things.
cops and nobody ever goes to jail. Ask Eric Garner's family that. Ask the family right there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Brother Alton Sterling's family,
But your
they're
statement
not getting
is not
justice. So
correct,
video gonna be
Juanel.
nothing for us. But
Your
let's get
statement's
back
not
to the
correct.
immigrants. I would say to the Hispanic and Mexican community, what you got to do now, hook up with the black community and unite in political power, because the Mexicans and black people unite in Texas, we can control the governor, we can control the lieutenant governor, and we can control politics in Texas, period. I'm saying to Latino brothers and sisters, don't fight them by yourself. If you hook up with black people and we unite, I'm telling you, we can run Texas and then pass laws to deal with those who hate us.
You're advocating for criminal activity, Cornell. These people are not here lawfully. They need to do what our
Oh, you
ancestors did, what many Mexicans have done,
No,
what
wait a minute.
many, don't interrupt
Your
me.
ancestors came here illegally. Wasn't nothing legal about your ancestors.
Listen.
They came illegally and they murdered, they raped, they pillaged a whole
That's
race
right.
of people.
That's
This
right.
country, Texas, Arizona,
Come on.
California, belonged
Preach
to
it,
the
brother.
Mexicans.
Cornell, get back
It was
to the
stolen from them.
You
So
tell
when
me
you
to
quote
get back
your
to the point.
ancestors, they came
No,
here
no,
illegally.
you're not being fair to me here. You say stay on topic. I say, okay, we'll stay on topic. And then as soon as we start talking about illegal
Your
immigration,
ancestors.
you go back to the black issue. Let's stay on topic.
Your
Cornell.
ancestors
Give
are the
me-
master illegal immigrants.
Give me the opportunity to respond in that, you know what? We're all Americans here. And if you
We're all Americans.
Wow.
No, we're not.
Tell them, Josh, we're not all Americans.
here legally, absolutely. Then we need to come together and we need to pass good laws for enforcing the laws.
Well, perhaps the Native
Okay.
Americans should have passed laws against your ancestors.
That's right. Now, did you hear that? You know what he just said, this man? He said a mouthful. Listen to this, guys. Every immigrant from hundreds of years ago have had plans in their spirit, right, Tony, to destroy the American Indians and take away their land. What about that? And then all you're going to hear from Christians is, oh, brother, that's the past. You know, let's move on. No. The Most High does not forgive anybody who destroys and stomps on his heritage. Get it.
Where's the money that we're supposed to be getting?
And they owe, right, Mary?
They owe the money.
Look at the money they owe the black people in this country, Tony, and the American Indians. They owe them billions, Tony. Right? Remember when Israelites, they left Egypt? What did they take? Didn't they take spoil? They were rich, weren't they? Because Pharaoh owed it to him, Mary. He had to give it to him. So America is Egypt, Babylon, and Rome. It's a Gentile nation. And it'll always be that until the Most High comes.
This past weekend in Third Ward, Houston, at the headquarters of the NAACP, the oldest black organization that's fighting for the civil rights of black people in America, was under attack by those quote unquote white supremacists and racists standing out in front of the NAACP headquarters with protest banners reading "White Lives Matter," with Confederate flags, bulletproof vests, and guns.
Well, you didn't have any guns.
Well, they had guns, yes. Go back and look at
They didn't have
it. 2 of them had assault rifles, yes.
No.
Our people showed up, Matt, and they were there with assault rifles.
Go ahead with the story.
Let me speak further.
Go ahead.
But what I want to say is this to the NAACP. You knew they were coming, but you didn't tell the rest of the community. They had a duty to inform us that these racists were coming into our neighborhoods and let us know where they were going to be, if they're going to be in front of their headquarters, and they knew about it. To those racists of White Lives Matter, you're blessed, because had we had known that you were coming, we sure as hell would have met you right out there.
See, why in the hell would you have done something like that? You know, it isn't White Lives Matter. It isn't Black Lives Matter. It's all lives matter. You got red blood. I got red blood. Into that organization, White Lives Matter.
What the heck is red blood?
So when he points out the fact that there's racist people with guns trying to hurt black people, he tries to make it sound like everyone matters.
Wow.
Now listen.
Wow.
That's not what you do. I don't know what kind of example you are, but you're certainly not an example of me. We are all together in this. Your skin color doesn't make any difference. We come together as men and women. Our blood is red, and we do the best thing.
But Matt, it is a factual history that when white men have come into the black community with guns and Confederate flags, we wind up hanging from trees, dead in ditches, and disappear, never seen or heard from again. So for the fact that these white racist men with this slogan of 14 words, which is from a white supremacist website, came into our neighborhood in 3rd Ward, I guarantee you,
and you know what?
Ever do it again? If they ever do it again, and we know about it,
start a riot.
We will meet them there. And let me tell you something: them guns you brought, we got big and better guns than you do.
Why is this making
Come again, and we will deal with it.
Don't let this upset you, because that's exactly what they're going for. It's the same thing that Black Lives Matter organizations try to do to white people. They try to get us all angry so that somehow we do something
Black
wrong.
Lives Matter has never come to your neighborhood with Confederate flags and guns in your neighborhoods. How the hell you gonna compare them to that? These racists have murdered black people still to this day, and you gonna come in our neighborhood with Confederate flags and
Well, let
guns?
me tell you something.
Oh no, baby. Next time you come, I guarantee you, we'll deal with you like you're supposed to.
And that's exactly what everybody would like. You know, these organizations would like to start a fight. It's the same thing with Black Lives Matter. They want to start something. It's all lives matter, Cornell. That's what you like.
Guess what though? You white lives matter supremacists come again with your guns, you're gonna sure as hell get you a fight too.
So it's wrong for black people to protect themselves against.
Right. Hope you're listening close to this.
It's wrong for black people to protect themselves against people who are trying to harm them, essentially.
I tell you, man, it's going to break out. That's when it's going to happen. Then it's going to be mandatory with you. There's got to be like something. Let me tell you, something's got to happen. There's got to be a war or something or something. But it sure is not coming like the Christian church taught me the way it's coming. If the way raptured, the mark's going to come. Wow.
You know, many in this nation are asking, what should Black Lives Matter do? And in which direction should they go? The shooter in Dallas, Michael Johnson, is reported that he was angry with Black Lives Matter. And I understand why he probably felt that way. Because he was of a real radical extreme mindset. And he's wondering why they are not at the same mindset that he is, and really should not be.
You're not forgiving this guy, are you?
That's not what I'm doing. But also what I am doing, I understand the conditions in America that produced a mindset like that. Injustice on a consistent basis breeds insanity, and that's what's happening in America with black people.
You know what's happening? You know what's happening, Quanell? There are black and white people that would like nothing more than for us to stay fighting, because they somehow achieve a bit more money or a bit more prosperity or a level that they like. But they've got to make sure that white people and black people or any race are fighting each other and they're all jazzed up over something. Those people succeed. And that ain't me. And I certainly hope it isn't you either, although I'm not so sure.
This nation, man, is at a crossroads. If we want to prevent another Michael Johnson, and I sit here with you for 6 years, and I warned you right from this seat that a Michael Johnson would be produced in America if injustice and police killings were not held accountable, these cops. And I'm warning you right now, brother. I'm telling you can take it or let it alone, and you don't have to listen. And this audience doesn't have to listen. But if they don't change, the next move, terrorist organizations from outside of America are going to try to connect with black people who are angry, disgruntled, and frustrated, and use them as an inside sale to strike America. That's what's coming.
His first stop was to an organization like yours, and you know, the new Black Panthers. He thought maybe that would be the place to go. Can you imagine that in this guy's mind, he looked at you as someone who could use to go after people like me?
I put the brother out.
I know you did.
Because I had no choice but to do so for the safety and security of the other members because of the brother's rhetoric. But at the end of the day, I understand what has produced that kind of mindset in many young black men. Don't you dare think.
That's a dangerous thing for you to say,
Don't you dare think that Michael Johnson was the only one thinking like that in America. He is not. There are other black people in America across this country who think just like that.
Let me tell you something, Quanell. There's all different races and breeds of people that unfortunately are thinking that way because there's a fire lit under them by individuals that are smiling from ear to ear, hoping something like that does happen. I'll tell you who wants to see this, Hillary Clinton.
Man, ask yourself the question. If black cops were in white neighborhoods executing young white boys like they do black men, and they were never held accountable, what would you white people do?
Let me tell you something.
You would go to war. You would go to war.
44% more police officers just now in 2016 have been killed trying to do their job than all of last year.
But Matt, we have been fighting police brutality really publicly since the 50s.
You don't shoot him. You don't shoot him.
Nothing has changed.
You don't shoot him.
I agree with that. And they should not be killed or targeted. But Matt, that 1% that they say is bad among them, that 99% better get off their ass and tell the truth and get rid of the 1% that's doing these things.
You do the same thing.
Matt, we have been trying. Let me tell you something. If these racists on these police departments don't get off their ass and deal with the bad element, I'm telling you, there's going to be more Dallases in America.
Then you and I get together and we'll stand up and we'll help them get them off their ass. Let's do that.
I have no problem with that. But the chief and district attorneys got to be held accountable to hold everybody to the same standard when they commit a crime. Cops and
can't be just by these two men.
So you see whenever you try to point out that they're making you suffer, they always try to divert and twist it around and make you seem like you're racist for pointing out they're evil.
And let me say something. Hold on, Josh. This brother that's talking to this black brother, he don't give a hoot about nothing. He's there sent by the elite to disturb and to twist and and to mock. I'm not prejudiced. Every word this black brother is saying is true.
And it's just that within the police department and the attorneys.
That's right. Well, we all know that, but it's all from your upper ups.
So
that was good.
So when we understand that the world.
Go ahead, Josh. Oh, got the Bible? Who's the Bible? Okay.
See.
No, you want to use it. Use it.
When we understand the system of the world is crooked.
Come on. No, it's straight. Everybody loves everybody.
We clearly understand and see how futile it is for you to beg for understanding or mercy from your political enemy who is set up to oppress you. So my point is, why do you try to see? And see, that's the mind of a lot of people, and that's where they get that racist mindset, because they watch news programs and they watch TV,
right,
where they're drinking this Kool-Aid of, it's wrong for you to point out the truth about reality. So the way I get around it is not by refuting what you said, it's by twisting it around on you and making you seem like you're the racist.
That's right. Wow, that's right on, Josh.
So
I hope you really listened tonight, because I'm telling you, Josh and I have been warning on this program for 5 years already, and it's here.
So
we have two different name of ministries now. We have Awake, O House of Israel Ministries and Voice of a Watchman. We'd like you to keep listening to us as we learn, like I said, right, Mary? Tony? Yeah. As we grow, everybody else will grow with us. And I hope that you'll take these serious messages to your spirit, you know, and realize what time we're in. We are past the time of the middle of Jacob's trouble. We are at the end. The Apocrypha says that Esau is the end of the world. The Gentile nation is coming to an end. And Jacob is that which is to come.
I want to show the people something here.
Go ahead. I mean, there's a world of things that people are not aware of, Josh. Like these two people who invented that software. They're in Africa poisoning people with injections.
Now, this is Revelations 1:14. It's a common scripture we like to use to prove the appearance of Christ, right? And if you look at the word I'm going to click on here for wool, it's the Greek word number 2053, irion, which means of course,
Want to read it closely? Of course, affiliate or affiliate or something. I can't see it. It's that small.
a flinty.
Okay.
So we understand that Christ has had woolly or nappy hair. See, a lot of times with these definitions, you have to be careful, because Strong's is a Strong's is not going to define a lot of times define these words accurately. So we know what wool it's, or wool, woolly, or fleece. That would be a better definition. So and I want to show you how they just try to throw people off with these definitions, because I'm going to go to the next verse, verse 15, where it says, now this is a white man who wrote the Strong's Concordance. Remember this. So where it says the word, where it would say in your Bible, as his feet were burned, or now see, instead of burned in the lexicon, it reads as it were refined, which is totally different.
That's right. It's not the same word.
Now, the definition is to burn, be on fire, or try. To glow, which Christ was not glowing. Be refined, or with Christ was not burning, fiery, or
oh, that's where that brother got this from. Oh, okay.
So
right.
this definition is watered down.
It sure is. All you have to do is just find yourself a piece of little brass on a construction job and put it in a fire. Put it in a little fire in your backyard.
So this is how the Strong's goes off.
Then you'll know his body color.
Right? That is why you cannot always trust.
That's right.
The Strong's Concordance. For example, and let me give you another example of how the Strong's will throw you off. This is what Bible study night is about. This is what a Bible study is supposed to be. You're supposed to learn.
That's right.
I'm going to
Learn the
the
truth.
book of Matthew in the Greek. Matthew 18. Showing you how the Strong's throws people off of what the Bible is supposed to be teaching if you use the Strong's Concordance. Now, this is where people would use, this verse is where people try to conjure the virgin birth out of. Now, the word for coming together is the Strong's word 4905, and it is summer karamai, and it means and this is what he says it means. This is not the biblical. It says to accompany. Now that is biblical. Now he starts out biblically, to accompany or to assemble, because that is the biblical definition of coming together. Well, let's see how he goes off. It says to convene, depart, to do accompany, with, associate with, specifically cohabit conjugally. Now, see, that's how they throw people off. What does cohabit conjugally mean? To have sex. See, when people read this, they go to the Greek, and you see how this is in parentheses. usually people will try to insert ideas into definitions or insert things, and the one of, or they'll just completely make something up and they'll put it in a parenthesis. So Strong's is right with the word convene or assemble. To convene, depart, assemble with, accompany. But when he goes to conjugally cohabit,
that's what he told you on.
So Mary and Joseph, the word come together in Matthew 1:18 does not have anything to do with cohabiting with someone sexually. No, wait a minute. Actually, no. Let me rephrase that. That's correct. Because Mary and Joseph did.
Before they came together.
They did.
Right.
Cohabit. They
before.
So before they came to see, and the way people mix this up
it's twisted,
is
yeah.
they take this, and the way they read Matthew 1:18, which would be now just read Matthew 1:18 because I want to explain it better.
Okay.
And then we'll close. This is what a Bible study is supposed to be, right?
That's right.
You're supposed to be able to learn how to understand the Bible.
Okay. I'll cut the cake. You want cake again?
Yeah.
1:18, right?
Right.
Okay. Before they came together at the feast, Mary was found with child.
Mm-hmm.
So they had sex before they came together with the relatives.
Uh-huh.
That's all it means. 1:18. Ready? In Rama, Josh?
Matthew 1:18.
1:18. I'm sorry. I got it. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, the birth of the Mashiach was on this wise. When, as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together.
Now, the they there is not Mary and Joseph. The they there is speaking about the wedding assembly coming together.
That's right. She was found with child of the permission of the Holy Spirit.
So she was found with child. Now we know that spirits do not have seeds.
That's
now,
right. So how
let's go up to the verse above that,
okay,
and I'll show you. Sorry, I don't know why I did that. Matthew
1:17 would be
18, 17. Oh, 17.
Where it talks about. Now just read verse 17, then you can close your Bible, and that's all I need.
So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. And from David until the carrying away into Babylon were 14 generations. And from the carrying away into Babylon unto Yashayah are 14 generations. Is that what you want?
That's 42.
Now, this I meant to read 16. I'll just read it in front of you.
Okay.
This is how it would read in the interlinear.
All right.
This is Jacob, moreover, begot Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Yashayah. Now, let's see what this term, when it mentions Joseph and Mary and born, what does born mean in the Greek? Born means beget, begotten, or conceive. It's the word
born in the womb. Okay.
To 1080.
When you find out that you're pregnant. That baby's born already. It's in you.
Gemeo.
Male, right?
Understand me?
To procreate.
Right.
So in verse 8:16 of Matthew 1, it tells you that Joseph and Mary procreated and conceived. It also means to beget, begot, to be born with, bring forth, bring forth, bring forth. Christ was brought forth from Joseph and Mary. Bring forth, delivered, make, or to spring.
Okay. So now that tells you right there that the Holy Spirit, if you actually, look, watch this. We all know here, and not just us, millions know that the Holy Spirit is feminine gender. So why would Christ send a perverted woman, right, into Mary to force her baby out?
So
isn't that lesbian? Wouldn't that be lesbianism?
Yeah.
You see how dangerous that is when you don't know really how to look at the word?
So we hopefully hope that that was educational and informative tonight. I didn't really intend on probably going that deep, but the Spirit needs to edify people. So we say shalom.
Shalom.